got no swing except for the ring of the truncheon thing.
And welcome to Moron Sports Radio. Another episode here. It's March 1st, 2013. The baseball season is about a month away from starting. And we're back, guys. We're doing another show because baseball season is starting. I'm here with Max Rais, Jacob Vernick, and Noah Gorstein. Guys, we're going to start off by talking about the local teams, as we love to do so much on the show. The Yankees and the Mets. The Yankees last season went 95-67. They were knocked out in the American League Championship Series against the Detroit Tigers. And this season...
Division Series.
They were knocked out in the championship.
Oh,
series.
yeah, okay, sorry. It's been a while.
This season, they lost Nick Swisher in free agency, Alex Rodriguez to that horrible injury and steroid scandal. Curtis Granderson was knocked out in the first game of the preseason, and he'll be out until May. And Russell Martin has gone to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Also, Derek Jeter and Mariano Rivera were injured last season. They hope to be ready for opening day, but there is still doubt there. And also, the Yankees
got a Pineda injury also.
Pineda injury. I mean, he wasn't there last year, so it wasn't much of a factor.
But I mean, he's going to be gone half the year.
And the Yankees are also in contract talks with Robinson Cano. They have reportedly offered him a very substantial deal. But they do not want to give him more than 6 to 7 years because of what has happened with Alex Rodriguez. And I think that's totally understandable.
Oh, yeah. They made one of the worst contract moves in all sports, signing A-Rod to that deal.
And we'll go to the Mets also. The Mets were 74-88 last season. They lost R.A. Dickey, Jason Bay, Chris Young, and Scott Harrison this offseason. I think all of those are good moves. Even R.A. Dickey, I think that's a good move, getting rid of R.A. Dickey, because at some point he's going to ask for a lot of money.
I wouldn't say it's a good move. It's just
getting rid of these four veterans was a good move for the Mets. And plus, they're laying a base with David Wright. They signed that huge contract with David Wright.
That was smart.
Based on these moves,
smarter than the Yankees.
My question to you guys is, at this point, March 1st, 2012 to now. To now. Okay. Who has improved the most, the Yankees or the Mets?
I don't think that's the right question.
No, I think
the question is who has improved the least, who has become worse.
I disagree with you. The Yankees have gone down. They've gone totally downhill from where they were.
Absolutely.
I think the Mets are taking a step in the right direction.
The Mets are going because to be honest, the Mets. I mean, how are the Yankees going to improve from 90+ wins? They can't.
A 95 win season.
The Mets improved, but the Yankees are still going to have a better record.
Yeah, I believe that.
I know. I'm not asking that. I know the Yankees will have a better record than the Mets because the Mets are still in the rebuilding stage.
Yeah.
But I think the Mets took a really good step signing Jason Bay to David Wright.
Getting rid of Jason Bay.
David Wright to a big contract because now they're laying a base. They
cleared up their cap a bit, and now they gave Wright the contract he needs.
And they
build a team around him with some young guys.
Build a team around David Wright, and I think that's what the team is trying to do. They're trying to keep players like Ike Davis and David Wright around so they can have a nice team 5 years from now.
They got those two prospects too with the R.A. Dickey trade.
Exactly.
Yeah, those guys are really good.
The Mets are really making a good. I mean, if Tyler was here, he would love me for saying this. The Mets are taking a step in the right direction, and I think that is the best thing that the Mets could do is to lay a base because they for so long now, maybe 4 or 5 years, the Mets have been confused as to what they want to do. Do they want to compete? Do they want to rebuild? And you can't do both. That's the worst.
And they finally decided.
They're going to rebuild.
Is their
that's
window.
good. I think that's good for the Mets.
14 or 15 was their window for contending. I think it was 15.
Yeah. 15, yeah. I think this is good for the Mets. This is good. But as for the Yankees, I don't know how this season is going to play out. I have never been this uncertain about a Yankees season.
Here's a statistic for you. With all the players they lost this year, the players who remain in the lineup amount for 68 of their home runs.
I heard that stat.
68.
That's incredible.
They hit 220
That's incredible.
last year.
That's incredible.
And over the past 2 seasons, nobody has hit even close to the amount of home runs Curtis Granderson has. And this team, they're nothing. I don't know. They've disintegrated. They're an old team. They're such an old team.
I totally agree with you, and I have not liked the way Yankees play baseball. And
Brian Cashman has dropped the ball,
but I do not like their whole idea of just hitting home runs and winning because they have 2 guys that hit for average, Jeter and Cano, and Teixeira before he came to the Yankees was hitting 300. 30 home runs, 110 RBIs.
And you also have
now he's hitting 240.
You have to account for.
Well, no, I mean, you have to think about it.
Ethan's having 200 strikeouts.
You have to think about it. You may not like it, but the Yankees are in the postseason every year.
But that's going to change.
They never do well.
That is going to change.
They never do well. When they won the World Series in 2009, they set a record for home runs in a season.
Right, but who's
In
going
a
to hit
home
him
run?
this year?
Yeah, they can't play like that.
I'm telling you,
anymore.
they're going to have to change
No,
it. But
yeah,
what Noah
Girardi
is
is
saying
saying
is he
changing.
didn't like the way that the Yankees have been playing baseball for the past 5-6 years. That's just the way they operate.
That's true.
You
That's
can't
true.
change the way
I'm
that
saying now you're not going to be able to
I'm
do
tell-
it.
I'm
Cashman already
I'm
has.
agreeing with you here because
Okay.
you can't change
Ronak.
Brian Cashman's standpoint on baseball. He's never going to think that the prospects and the little things in baseball are important because for so long, the big ball has given him success. You're never going to change Brian Cashman's mind and tell him that prospects and pitching are important because to him they're not. They just aren't.
Every year, the Yankees always do well by signing the big name, the big ball hitters.
What do they get this year? Juan
Exactly.
Rivera?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Cashman has changed.
Juan Rivera?
Cashman has changed his whole philosophy. He even said he's not signing people
well,
anymore.
Euclid, I'm
he's
telling
not
you.
spending money like he did, like
get
he
to
used to.
Euclid.
And so you can't have your big ball philosophy without signing the big ball hitters.
I agree. I agree.
So yes, he has changed his
They
whole.
pass.
He's trying to
they
focus
have
on
passed up on the
small
big
ball and
prospects.
hitting, but that's not how the Yankees work.
They have
and that's
passed
not
up
how-
on the big prospects.
It's not
this
going to work.
offseason.
And I will say,
Josh
in 2
Hamilton, Jose Reyes. I don't think they could have gotten Jose Reyes.
Oh, no,
John
no.
He
Carlos
wouldn't
Stanton.
belong there.
All those big hitters that the Yankees so desperately
they drop.
needed.
They have the money. They
and
drop the ball.
instead, they get Kevin Youkilis, guys. I know a lot of people weren't okay with this. Kevin
Myself
Youkilis
included.
Kevin Youkilis, obviously a big-time Red Sox. In fact, the
Wait, I
first
got
day
a
that he
fun fact.
reported,
I got a fun fact.
the first day he reported to camp, he told reporters, "I will always be a Red Sox." The
You know
day
he
after,
said that?
Do you know
he
he's
told
Tom
the press
Brady's
reporter-
brother-in-law?
What?
Do you know he's Tom Brady's
How's that
brother-in-law?
important to this right
I'm
now?
just saying.
Get
Isn't
out
that
of here.
awesome?
Are you kidding
Turn
me?
your mic
He
off.
is?
That's
ridiculous.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Wait, did he marry Tom
Brady's
Brady's
sister. Yep.
Oh, that's weird.
That-
That's blows my mind. But continue.
Wow,
so
that's
the
a cool
the
fact.
first day that Youkilis reports to camp, he says, "I'll always be a Red Sox." The next day, "I'm proud to be a Yankee."
You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And I think that is exactly how this relationship with him and the fans is going to play. He's going to keep egging them on, and he's not going to succeed until he does what Johnny Damon did and just embrace the
Oh, but
fact that
that's not
I'm
gonna
with the
happen.
Yankees now. I'm gonna help them win. And Johnny Damon actually turned out to be a very good Yankee
Still
player.
hated him.
Youkilis will.
Still
Oh,
hate
you
him.
know
We
what?
can hate
that's
Johnny
interesting?
Damon, but he helped them win a World Series.
You know what? You know what Johnny Damon said? He said that if the Yankees were to contact him, he would have no doubt in his mind he would come back.
I don't know how I feel about that though. I don't know how I feel about Johnny
wouldn't
Damon
want
coming
I
back.
would just like to see him.
I'd like to see Johnny Damon come
I
back.
do it.
Ronak, what do you think about Ichiro at the Yankees this year?
Thank God they had
last
him.
year I think Ichiro was a fantastic addition.
Yeah,
I don't know how he's going to do in a full season in pinstripes.
I think he's gonna do fine.
I don't know. No, I honestly don't know. I thought he was a good late trade deadline acquisition.
not
I don't
to-
know
not to
how
mention
I
Jack-
don't know how it would be signing him for a full contract. I don't know.
Ichiro, though, he's
Think
always
about it,
been that
but,
300, that 320 guy, and now he's turning into this 270, 280 guy who gets a bunch of singles, but also strikes out a ton and doesn't do much.
All right, let's look at Ichiro's career. He has played since 2001. Not once has Ichiro played in a pressure-filled environment, and he hasn't done that for
They were competitive. A couple
the
years in
Mariners.
Seattle. They were
Yeah,
competitive.
but I mean,
in,
Yeah,
even
they-
if the Mariners are competitive, they're never
yeah,
high
yeah.
pressure. Even that year that they won 116 games, his rookie year, people were just saying, "Oh my gosh, the Mariners out of nowhere." It's not like the Mariners need to win the World Series now. The Mariners were knocked out by the Yankees, and the Diamondbacks later won that World Series. But nobody remembers that the Mariners won 116 games, and they were the favorite for the World Series. Ichiro played on that team. He hasn't played on a high pressure team until the Yankees this season.
I mean, Ron, I think it's pretty clear you're worried that the media is gonna get the best of him. But the Japanese media in New York, they love the Japanese media.
Yeah, but they
thrives
loved
in
him.
that.
The New
They
York
love him.
media is
It's
not.
Like, it's like Houston with
That-
the Rockets.
No. That's the point. That's the point. They
don't pressure him, they embrace him.
The Japanese media embraces him. The New York media will ostracize him.
I disagree. They do not do that
That's
with
what they've done to every single player that has come through New York and played.
But Ichiro has done well in his first year.
That doesn't matter.
If he came
that
in
doesn't
like,
matter. Look what happened to A-Rod.
oh well, come on.
Look what happened. No, but I mean, even before that, like look at
He won
A-Rod.
MVPs his
A-Rod
first
was an
years.
MVP in Texas, which is
was
a
an
pretty
MVP.
low pressure. Was a pretty low pressure situation. He comes into New York, has
Wins
some of
an
the worst.
MVP.
What?
Wins an MVP.
Then after he gets proven for steroids, has some of the worst years of his life.
Oh, yeah, he's not taking steroids.
All right, I have a question for you
All
about
right.
A-Rod. Will he be... I know he's...
A-Rod will never
never
play
be
baseball.
A-Rod.
No.
has a glass hip, and he will never.
A-Rod will never play baseball in the major leagues again.
Okay, I'm gonna disagree with
I'm gonna
that.
disagree
but
there.
he'll never be. I bet he never hits 20 home runs in a
He will
season
never
again.
play
So
actual
you're
baseball.
saying-
He
I
will
mean-
play like swing the ball and strike out. That's all he will do.
He
I'm-
is at what right now? 6'15"?
Yeah.
Around there? Mm-hmm. So he's 35.
He won't get the 700.
He won't get the
He will
700.
not.
He won't get a 700.
No, I'm telling
you.
you, A-Rod won't
You're saying
play
he's
another
done
game.
forever.
He's not going to play a game. Because think about it, he's out this year. He comes back.
He's out half the year.
He's
He's
yes,
not out all
half the
year. He's out till the All-Star break or something like that.
He's out to the All-Star break. No, I thought he was out all year.
No,
Half year.
No,
half the year.
it's
He's
just
half the year.
yeah.
But yeah.
If it was all year, I agree with you, but that's not the case here. I think he'll finish out this season the best he can, and then he's gonna break another hip.
That was a hearty discussion, guys.
That was
But
great.
let's move on to another really controversial topic that really hasn't been brought to my attention till right now. Obviously, because I saw some things on ESPN and I saw something on the internet. It's about pitchers' head protection while pitching.
Yeah, I heard you
helmet?
mention this.
All right,
What-
let
what-
me
what
explain.
is
Let me
this?
go through it. MLB is considering protective headwear for pitchers after incidents in 2012. Oakland A's pitcher Brandon McCarthy was hit in the head and required emergency brain surgery that eventually was proven to save his life. Doug Fister was hit in the World Series.
I remember,
He
yeah.
stayed in the game, but he also had some head problems after that. MLB was not thinking about helmets like the catchers wear, but they're thinking about hats that have protective lining that could reduce.
Well,
the,
like a visor?
no. Like on the inside, it has padding.
So it protects the head, not the face.
It's like a
Not the
foam.
face.
It's like a foam inside the
They're
cap.
not. And then I saw an interview with Chris Young, who was hit in the face by an Albert Pujols line drive when he was playing for San Diego, and it broke his nose, and he still has a permanent scar there. And he said, and I think it was Tim Kirchin asked him, "What do you think is gonna be the breaking point for something to be done about this?" He was like, "Honestly, as bad as it sounds, someone's gonna have to be killed playing
I
baseball,
agree.
and that is gonna be it." And you really don't want it to get to that point. So
right.
what do you?
God, no.
So what do you guys think about? Because when I saw the interview, I thought protection for pitchers, that's a little much. After I was finished seeing this is a really good point. I think pitchers need head protection in baseball.
I don't think that you can do that before
yeah.
you ban collisions.
There's no way to do it right.
There's
There's no way to do it.
I know.
There's no way to do it right, but I think some action needs to be taken.
Ronak, they can't. They cannot put a face mask over
They're
the
not
pitcher.
going to put a face
Oh,
mask
yeah,
on
obviously.
the
The
pitcher.
game is a risk, in my opinion. They can do the padded hats, but you can't change what the pitchers.
The best they could do is padded hats and teach pitchers to get their glove right to their face after they pitch.
I mean, think about it. The pitchers are 60 feet 6 inches away from the plate.
They have to think protection first, fielding second.
Yeah.
That's gotta be
After the
mindset.
pitcher follows through, we'll say he is 55 feet away from the batter.
Yeah. Okay.
Line drives, an average line drive to the pitcher
I like this.
will come at 120 miles an hour.
All right.
And the pitcher will have less than 0.3 seconds to react.
It's got to become part of his pitching routine to bring it.
It's a game of risk. I mean, that's
I mean,
what you sign up
it's a
for
game
when you
of
play
risk.
baseball.
That pitcher should be happy he's not playing
You're
professional
playing
football.
first base. You're 90
There-
feet
there
away.
is
I mean,
no
I
sport
mean,
that is
you know,
safe. I mean,
what?
there is sports are not meant to be.
But I
safe.
mean, this is more than just not just not safe. This can be fatal.
Yeah.
so could head injuries in the NFL.
Yeah, but I mean, the NFL head injuries.
They're
They're
protected.
trying-
A head-to-head
can't.
collision. A head-to-head collision is not as impactful as a baseball coming for your face at full speed.
But the whiplash that you hit the ground with in the NFL, I don't
No,
agree with.
I
what
agree
you're
with
saying.
Ronick where they're not on the same level. Of course, they're both on very high levels of pain
Yeah.
and suffering, but something has to be done. But what could be done? Like what could they do?
I think you could do the protective hat, and
But
I think
that does not protect your face.
this
I mean,
this conversation will not be properly escalated until Chris Young said until someone is severely injured. And
In which case, we're all going to be.
and, and unfortunately, that's going to have to happen for MLB to do something because right now all of them have the mindset, okay, it's a risky game.
But I mean, when somebody gets killed, they're like, oh, like they have to do this. But then, like, MLB might. I mean, every fan is going to want it if somebody dies.
What are you going to do, though? I mean,
I can't
Exactly. What can you do?
I can see Bud. I
You're going
cannot
to
see Bud
take the
Selig
ball
doing
and make
anything.
it a softball?
You can't see Bud.
I mean,
you
are
can't see
gonna
Bud
put
Selig
an
to
ass
end
in
it.
the guy's face?
But
I
I
can
mean,
see batting
this
practice.
this is what has happened through baseball throughout the history of time. Catchers received protection. Hitters received helmets. I mean, now umpires started to wear helmets.
First base
coaches have
yeah.
to wear helmets. It's just getting safer and safer, and I think that's what happens when you play a sport that has been around for almost over a century. It continues to reform and get safer, and I think that's a good thing. You're supposed to make this game safer as it goes on, because when you invent the game of baseball, it's not automatically perfect. You have to keep changing it, as we've seen throughout the past century, to get it right.
But do you think one? I mean, this is kind of bad to say, but 1 out of over 1,000 pitchers get hit. I mean, is that a bad odd?
I don't think a
It's-
pitcher.
it shouldn't be like
It's
that.
going to eventually get to the point where a pitcher does not want to be put in the situation where eventually his career, his livelihood, possibly his life could be ended
but
just by
Oh,
standing
well,
on
to
the
be
mound.
fair, football players make that sacrifice every week.
I mean, their desire to play the game, I think, is higher than their thought of getting injured.
And the
Yeah,
money.
it's a
And the
different
money.
mindset for athletes
Because
they don't have the same
but
laws that we
what
do.
is safe enough? I mean, there is no level in baseball that you're gonna do.
I mean, think about a
pitcher.
pitcher's
Listen,
pitching motion. There's no way you can just get that. There's no way you can
If I'd have to say it,
space, right?
I think eventually it's going to go. Pitchers are going to have to wear the helmets. They're going to they're going
Like
to
a
have
John
to
Olerud.
Yeah, like a John Olerud helmet. They're going to have to wear that. I think that's what it's going to come down to.
But there's no way that
You might not like
If
it.
he's whipping his head around and that helmet is like,
I mean, they'll have to
rounding on his
construct
head.
it to be.
You might not
more
like
fitted
it
or
exactly.
anything.
You won't like
It's
it,
not gonna
but
be like a
it'll
battle.
happen.
It has to be a tight
It'll
fit
happen.
helmet, yeah.
I mean, and I saw.
that's gonna eliminate though the pitchers being able to view to first base.
Yeah,
But, I mean, they would. I mean,
no. Those helmets don't have flaps.
So say somebody gets hit in the ear.
Jacob, I think they would just make
Rattles their brain.
they'd have to make a custom pitcher's helmet.
They'd
It
have-
would be
it-
fitting.
it
so
would
that
be something
it
we've
wouldn't
never seen
take away.
before,
But still, I feel like on hats you're not supposed to have like spit or whatever, anything like that. And with a helmet, I mean, there could be like spitballs and what else you might be able to hide something in there. There's so many different options. Like
You run that risk with people cheating is not going to be my concern when you add something to
Yeah,
the
it's just
game.
like-
I mean, you give that a long time.
It's such a hard thing to do to effectively protect.
And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because it is such a controversial,
No, it's a great- great
such a
topic.
stumping question, because I don't know what you would do with this situation.
Honestly, I think the best thing is to do nothing. I can't
To do nothing?
I can't.
I think, I mean,
There's
as
no
of,
way to,
as of
like,
right now,
to do it
MLB
right.
won't do anything because nothing has happened. Honestly, for the past 20 years, I read in the interview, MLB has said that they're going to do something, but they didn't do anything. Now the talks are just escalating because of what happened to Brandon McCarthy.
Yeah.
So, like I said, extreme experience and injury is the one thing that gets people doing
Exactly.
something.
But have you read the rest of McCarthy's? Like, if you read anything that McCarthy said, he won't even watch the play with him getting hit.
Exactly.
He's like, I'm not afraid of it because I know what happens. He's just going to continue going.
I
because-
saw it. He's okay now,
Yeah,
obviously.
oh, yeah. He's in
And they did an interview with him, and they did an interview with him, and he said, "I never saw the ball. I never saw it until maybe I got up. I was holding my head, and I saw it 5-10 feet away from me." So it's a scary thought. I had never thought about it. I mean, when I played baseball in in Little League and stuff, and I pitched, that was the least of my concerns.
Yeah, who would've-
the least of my concerns, and now I am just so much more weary about it because now I know how dangerous this is going to be. And I think that's going to wrap it up for today's show, guys. A lot of fun. Catch us next week on Thursday. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about the World Baseball Classic next week and the nightmare it is for managers. Be sure to stick around.